Good morning. It's 30 minutes after the hour. Welcome to Newsroom on GHOne TV. Our top stories. Traders and commercial drivers in Accra stage protest over alleged seizure of their business grounds. We are live with more on this shortly. Also in this broadcast, Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference backs calls for declaration of a state of emergency, warning that no political calculation should stand in the way of the illegal mining fight. Meanwhile, private legal practitioner urges military personnel to collaborate with blue water guards to shoot and maim perpetrators of Galamsey.
This is a war. This is a war. And we think it's not affecting us. It's affecting everybody. But
a surge in fuel prices expected according to analysts on the back of a depreciating cedi. From our studios here at the Platinum Place, Northridge, Accra, Ghana, my name is Emmanuel. Agyabeng. Welcome once again to the broadcast. And here tensions are rising in Accra, where traders and drivers from the CMB area have taken to the streets to protest what they call land grabbing by unknown persons. The group is also accusing powerful individuals of seizing their business grounds and replacing them with shops they cannot afford to rent. The demonstrators say their livelihoods are under threat and are now appealing directly to President Mahama for intervention. We'll take you live to the area where they are protesting. My colleague Calvin Powell is covering that particular demonstration. He joins me now for more on this particular protest. Calvin is with me now. He joins us via Zoom. Calvin, tell us exactly where you are. I can see some persons around you with a GPRTU and the ampersand there. Tell us more. What is happening?
All right, so currently we are at the Sankara overpass. That's close to Apotiko. We just came from the Jubilee House where the members of GPRTU and the Container Owners Association of CMB presented a petition to the president, John Dramani Mahama. And I must mention that today, John Mahama, as we know, is in the voter region to cut short, so he's not around. So presidential staff in the person of Bridget Otu at the presidency communication received the petition on the president's behalf. And she has applauded the members of the two groups for choosing dialogue over violence. And she promised that as soon as the president is back in town, the petition will be given to him to scrutinize, and the necessary steps will be taken to retrieve the land, which is a bone of contention between the two traders, GPRTU and the traders. And they mentioned that one, Dasibre Dr. Asumadu Nyakun, is the one behind the takeover of the land. I have some of them here who are elderly people that have trekked from their homes to the Jubilee House, and they are trekking back. Let me just engage them briefly to understand from their perspective what is actually the situation. Oh, you are live on GHOne television. Can you tell us your name and where you are part of the demonstration today?
Oh, my name is Uncle Ratilamti. I've been at that station so many years ago, since 1985. We have been there. We are the first settlers. But now, those who feel they have money, they are the big men. But they are taking over the station, taking the transport, GPRTU members, and even the container association who are there. So now, today, we are holding this petition to the president, so he should come to our aid.
So after the petition is presented, what are you looking at next? Are you still over there? Are you still plying your trade? Or recently, what's happening in your life?
We are still there. But now they have encroached the station, which is now smaller. which we can't. That's how you see the vehicles on the roadside causing accidents, all the rest. So we are now fighting that if they will come and put the station at put this thing for us. Yeah.
All right, so this is a driver. He's been driving at the CMB lorry terminal for the past since 1985. I have some traders over here. Let me also engage them as to what has prompted their participation in the project. Mommy, but your protest no, I don't think I know so what do you share movie.
Yeah, be a school say be and what do I ever
then I'm president on your mom is here.
yeah, but on just as my on my
But you're offering nearby.
yeah, the Hobby Papa. That's all my head. Yeah, Enti me mensia me ne obi a wo hwe wo mo enti me ton ade na me de ahwe me ma enti dwama ha ma oboye ni enya baabi ne yen sedwa no yen fa hwe yam
also then na obese wo kan ekire o manpanyin
yo ye pese ya ka kire ya manpanyin ni say yes na ni de ma ho brasie mu o man ga na ye nyina ye man ye be sre no say abatan ya egusien binya abatan ketwa enyumakuo ahorowo Omei betum pony na CMB. Enyuma wolu obi baba police doctor. Ene ne nkeka ho. Enyuma ye ntimi mpo emubodi. Ene ni nyina CMB. Ene omanga na ya ye wo mu. Bibi to say ye kurumu sabe. Enye kurumu nyina na wadwuma ye. Ye me ya ni ye koba. Ye mi oba atampa ene ye dan wo ho. Ye ba mu driver for me na wo ka say. Me flate mu odan ena me ba. Mitumi ba be di na awotwe wa ha ene enam CMB nti me ba mitumi ba ton ade nti yankopɔ ado me manyina gusu ko school mitumi show mo pepe nya me nko a me hu anuanom bebra ekeka ho eti e ba sra ya papa Joma Hama say ya pa ne chew o meboa yen ye hwehwɛ free ya papa Joma Hama
yo ye da wasepe. So I still have some of the members here. Let me engage please tell me are you a trader or a driver?
I'm a driver.
So the petition that you have presented today, what do you want to say about it? Kachi yanko.
Yeah, to say, we be your friend say, CMB station, and they were a year tomorrow. A year, see a whole no rules for Tanzania. And now see, no bad, obesidan. Well, one is the first one. Yes, for second one. And also, yeah, obviously, that I was able to when I said I'll be answer. The better demonstration. I'm my papa. I know my mama.
Okay, it also. So, Emma, so those are some of the aggrieved members sharing their perspective in respect of the petition that they presented. They are waiting for the president to come back and whatever that he has for them, the leaders will be and disseminate the message to the members.
Calvin, thank you so much for the live reports, Calvin, as my colleague here who has been covering the protest since they began this morning. But as you rightly mentioned, they presented a petition to the presidency, which was taken by Bridget Otu, who is a presidential staffer in West of the government's communications. But before we bring you that particular bite, as you received the petition, let's take you to what industry persons are saying, because this protest is between the GPRTU, organized between the GPRTU, tanker drivers, and as well traders, at the CMB area about this land grabbing issue. Let's bring you Abasi Moro, who spoke to my colleague Calvin earlier, and as well David Aguado, who also shared his thoughts and comments about this protest.
Lost most of the stations over there due to the sales of the lands to businessmen who put up new buildings over there. So we've lost most of the unions working over there. And as we speak now, currently another businessman has come up saying the place, some of the portion has been allocated to him. And surprisingly, these issues come out due to the activities of the railway authorities. If you are a manager or a director at the railway, the government land does not belong to you. So we are pleading with the authorities. We've always been saying GPRT will believe in dialogue than violence. So we put everything in this paper, pleading with the pleading with the authority. This is between shipyards and the market women, the container owners over there. So we are pleading with the president to come to our aid and make sure we revive the lorry park once again. Now that the population is growing, it is our hope and belief that the government will go for another lorry park for us. Here we are losing the one that we have. So we thank you very much.
So I want to, on his behalf, apologize to you. And you made a statement that I so love. You said that you want to engage in dialogue and not violence. And in the history that she recalled that as far back as 1985, you occupied the land in 1996 for the Containers Association. So there's a history there. So I want to, first of all, say he sees this as very serious, and he will he will attach all the seriousness this deserves. I will go in there and submit it. Wait for the Chief Justice. When they come, then I'll hand it personally to them, so you know that the President will see your petition and he will attend to it as well. So thank you, first of all, for honoring the President. Thank you for not taking.
Well, away from that, let's talk about Galamsey, because the president of the Ghana Bar Association has called on members of the legal profession to take an active fight against illegal mining, describing it as a national crisis threatening Ghana's survival. Speaking at the association's annual general conference in Wa, she urged lawyers to use their voices and influence to defend the environment.
We were informed by a recent media report that Ghana imports the highest number of excavators in West Africa, and the second highest number in all of Africa. If indeed that is the case, one may ask, what thriving business in Ghana requires the importation of such huge numbers of excavators? If entrenched interests hide behind status and privilege, then we as lawyers have a moral duty to strip away the impunity that shields them. The rivers of Ghana cannot speak. The forests cannot do likewise. But we as custodians of justice must raise our voices on their behalf.
We still stay a bit longer on this subject because the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference has called on the President, GHOne Dramani Mahama, to declare without hesitation a state of emergency in affected mining zones and around endangered water bodies. The conference has urged politicians across the country to rise above partisan and personal interests against the fight, against the Galamsey fight. Now, in a press statement, the bishops described the devastation caused by Galamsey as requiring a decisive, extraordinary response and warned that no political calculation should stand in the way of protecting the nation's future. The clergy warned that any further delay amounts to a betrayal of the nation. The clerics lamented the once pristine rivers such as the Pra, Koba, Brimo, Fing, and Ayensu are now poisoned with mercury and toxic materials. They described the destruction of forests and farmlands as a profound betrayal of God's mandate of stewardship, accusing politicians, chiefs, security officers, and other leaders of shielding their operations which are illegal. They urging the president to indeed declare the state of emergency, as well impose curfews, secure devastated lands, dismantle criminal cartels, and halt corruption in mining administration in the country. Pressure is indeed mounting on the government to declare a state of emergency over illegal mining in the country. President Mahama has explained that his reluctance stems from the belief that all available methods to combat the menace have not yet been exhausted. However, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey is urging the president to immediately declare a state of emergency in the areas hardest hit by illegal mining activities. The coalition cites constitutional provisions saying the scale and persistence of environmental crime, which includes depriving communities of safe water and threatening public safety, now meets the threshold for extraordinary action. Engineer Dr. Kenneth Agyabeng is convener of the coalition. Let's have a listen to him.
By Article 31(9)(a) and (b), the circumstances under which a state of emergency may be declared include the current Galamsey situation, in which the actions being taken by the environmental criminals are calculated to deprive large communities of potable water, which is an essential of life. It also renders necessary the taking of measures which are required for securing the public safety, the defense of Ghana, and the maintenance of public order and of supplies and essentials to the life of the community. We are beyond the last resort, and His Excellency, Mr. President, please, you should immediately declare a state of emergency in parts of the country, not in all of the country, not in the entire district, but in parts of the country that are required to save Ghanaians as prescribed by the Constitution. A Constitution you have agreed to uphold. The President must provide the nation with milestones and timelines to serve as a guide for continued action and demonstration of the government's commitment. Just to tell us that the committee has been formed, it's not adequate. We need a lot of transparency. We need a lot of details.
That transparency has been described as urgent by the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, which is urging the President, John Dramani Mahama, to immediately declare a targeted state of emergency in areas hardest hit by illegal mining. The coalition is calling for urgent, transparent measures, including public water quality testing, monthly KPIs from Ghana Water Limited and the CWSA, clear timelines, named commanders for enforcement, and uncompromising prosecution of financiers and operators of illegal mining.
The President should direct Ghana Water Company and the Community Water and Sanitation Agency to publish the level of heavy metals and other chemicals in treated water impacted by Galamsey and assure citizens that the levels are within the WHO acceptable limits. We wrote a letter to Ghana Water in the past, past regime, to Standard Authority and Food and Drugs Board about this particular issue. They have not responded. Do you know whether the water you are using to bath, using to cook, that seems clear? Do you know the level of heavy metals that are in it? What is the impact on your kidney? What is the impact on the organs of your body? It is important that Ghana Water, you publish this for us and assure all of us, so that if it is not good enough, then we all stop drinking it. That would then let us realize whether we've gotten to the last resort for the state of emergency to be. The President should also direct the two agencies to publish monthly turbidity and other water quality KPIs at their water treatment intake points to track the impact of government's fight against Galamsey.
For private legal practitioner Kwame Jantua is urging the military as well to be trained to work alongside the Blue Water Guards with orders to shoot and maim offenders to effectively combat illegal mining.
In terms of the state of emergency, I would have wished that the President would declare a state of emergency on water bodies only. Why? They say potable water is life. Potable water is life. Where does potable water come from? Isn't it freshwater streams? Now, if that is being polluted and water is life, what does that mean? It would kill us if we don't have water. So that's the first point of call. There's an added value to declaring state of emergency on water bodies. And what is that added value? Champagnes, are they being imported? No. They are being fabricated here. That alone stops the fabrication of champagnes. That alone. Blue Water Guards, I hear dogs say, oh, they have seen champagnes and all that. Blue Water Guards, do they have weapons? What do you call it? The Galamseyers, do they have weapons?
Yes.
So if Blue Water Guards are faced by Galamseyers with guns, what will happen? This is a war. This is a war. And we think it's not affecting us. It's affecting everybody. But if we have a special branch of soldiers whose responsibility is to fight Galamsey. And maybe let me refine my but I think I still stand by it. Maybe ain't shoot to kill, but shoot to maim. Shoot to maim, because currently we haven't been able to arrest any financier. But there are people financing it. Down there, the people who are in the mud, and they are also getting finances from somewhere to continuously do that. So We'll shoot to maim.
My senior colleague, Ibrahim Alassan, he's the head of EIB's political desk. He joins me in studio to discuss all of this about state of emergency and what it will entail for it to be declared. IB, thank you so much for joining us. State of emergency.
Yes.
What don't our viewers know about it?
Well, Article 31, that's what talks about the emergency powers of the president, right? And so the president would not declare a state of emergency alone. The Constitution enjoins him to consult the Council of State. Now, after that happens, the president is expected to inform Parliament. Parliament is within 72 hours expected to either approve or disapprove of the president's declaration. Now, intermittently, Parliament is also clothed with the powers to review. Now, this is what happens when a state of emergency is declared. Some laws are suspended. But of course, we have emergency laws that are made specifically to deal with the matter that has necessitated the declaration of a state of emergency. And we'll come to those issues that necessitate the declaration of state of emergency. We talk about natural disasters. We talk about anything happening that has the capability of destabilizing the peace of the nation, right? We talk about many other things that ought to be attended to in an emergency situation. So I reference the power of the president. So the president is close to the power, but he doesn't do so alone. He does so in consultation with the Council of State. But as a way of ensuring checks and balances, Parliament has its own authority, and the authority from Parliament is that it has to approve the declaration by the president. So we can move to talk about, aside that, this I've referenced, aside that, what then can be done to ensure that the state of emergency is declared? I related to this. When you move away from this, I talk about national disasters, natural disasters, right? So of course, I've also talked about the oversight of Parliament and the fact that the duration is 3 months initially, right? And then unless the president specifies a shorter duration, the duration for the state of emergency should not go beyond 3 months. But of course, Parliament has oversight. And then at what point can a state of emergency be declared? A natural disaster. Are we there yet? No, we don't. Ghana is not going through a natural disaster. But of course, it talks about a situation that threatens to deprive the community of essential services and supply. And that's where we are. Essential services and supply relative to water, relative to the vegetation, relative to food, relative to even our cash crop, cocoa. So that's where we are. So the president is allowed to do that. Now, what happens during the state of emergency? Regular laws are suspended, right? Regular laws are suspended. There are emergency laws that are made. You heard Lawyer Kwame Jantua talk about the fact that if it's declared on water bodies, then those areas can be declared as no-go areas, right? So anybody who is seen there is first of all suspected to be somebody who intends causing harm to the environment.
Be someone complicit in the whole
Exactly. You are arrested. Now, after your arrest, usually when regular laws are in force, you are expected to be put before a court. When emergency laws are in force, you can be detained by reasonable time before you are even put before a court.
Okay.
Now, aside that, the Constitution also, under Article 32, talks about the fact that the fundamental human rights of the individuals are also supposed to be protected. Yes, emergency laws are made, but those laws must respect the fundamental human rights of citizens, of Ghanaians, or those living in the country, right? Let's talk about the benefits of declaration of state of emergency. First of all, the president will have the freedom, right, to mobilize resources. Extra resources are made available without necessarily having to respect the details of the budget, right? Aside that, the president is equally allowed to circumvent, so to speak, some procurement processes, because even the Procurement Act makes room for emergency procurement, where you don't have to open tender to competitive bidding and everything. That comes as well. And then the ability to mobilize our security forces and then put all of them, deploy all of them to ensure that the emergency that has attracted the attention of the president is addressed, right? And of course, as I mentioned, arrests are made in immediacy without necessarily having to go to court until it is within the powers of the president or the authorities to determine that the threat has been dealt with one way or the other. So, yes, but there are downsides too.
Yes, because I was about, given the powers the president has,
yes.
I mean, I'm just wondering, we don't want a situation of Guantanamo Bay where, because it's a state of emergency, you could just put out certain moves. Parliament's approval process, does it bar the president from taking certain actions?
No. The implementation is left to the executive. Yes, so the presidency, in consultation with the Council of State, will make the declaration. Parliament will offer approval. Now, let's talk about our current parliament. There's no way, if the president decides to declare a state of emergency, Parliament, as we have it, can say no, because by simple majority, NDC has overwhelming majority in Parliament, right? The issue with implementation. Fortunately, in this country, we don't have martial laws. Elsewhere, there are martial laws, which will suspend the Constitution. When martial laws are enforced, constitutions are suspended. And then emergency laws are equally triggered to ensure that the threat that we are seeking to fight is dealt with. So the excesses will be disruption in lives of all the individuals in these communities. So farmers will be impacted, right? Even ordinary citizens living in these communities will be impacted. You talk about water sources, right? Even somebody who is going to the riverside to fetch water, the suspicion, first of all, is that you are a threat to the environment until otherwise determined, right? So it brings about general disruption in the lives of people. And then, of course, it's open to excesses. I remember the COVID emergency laws and how the military used whips on citizens who refused to adhere to this. Subsequently, the Apex Court of the land flagged that declaration as unconstitutional. The harm had already been done.
We're certainly hoping that whatever action the government takes will be in the best interest of all citizens, including myself, yourself. Ivy, thank you so much for giving us up-to-speed information on what declaration of a state of emergency under Article 31 of our 1992 Constitution means. Ivy Ibrahim Al-Hassan is our head of political index here at the EIB Network. But let's speak to the small-scale miners in the Ashanti region. I have with me now the public relations officer for the association, Arafat Suleiman. Arafat, good morning. Welcome to the bulletin.
I hope you are doing well.
I am great. Yourself?
You are doing very well.
For you as an association, do you believe it's time to declare state of emergency on illegal mining activities?
I think it's unfortunate state agencies are calling for state of emergency at this moment when we haven't exhausted all the options we have available. For instance, we have been calling for empowerment as an association to be able to help fight illegal mining units. But when you look at the situation, we don't have willingness from the CSOs and the various organizations who are calling for the state of emergency declaration. For instance, let's assume there are media houses currently under practicing media wrongly, and then enforcements are not happening as they should. And then probably the GA asks that they be given some certain powers to be able to make sure that they can regulate such media houses. Do you think the media personnel will feel like GA is trying to close down their enterprise just because they think they want to take over their operations? They would know very well that GA is rather trying to protect and sanitize the entire sector for everybody within the media space. So we are calling that our task force be empowered. Because I don't even want to talk about the forest reserves and the water bodies. Because when you go to the Mineral and Mining Act, nobody is allowed as a small-scale miner to be issued a license to operate within water bodies or forest reserves. And so that is already illegal. So it's already banned. So it's already in a state of emergency. You don't even need to go there in that discussion.
Well,
however,
how do you marry the call for the empowerment of task force with some allegations that we have seen in the past with the operation of these task forces about collusion, about how they harass some of your members who are doing mining activities legally?
No. Such task forces are not the small-scale mining task forces. We are talking about the very, very small-scale mining task force, which initially took Erasmus Asaridonko across the country on their operations to see what work they were doing, which he never gave them that, recognition. The very task force I went to Erasmus to That forest is there. Where military men were there, they were invaded, they were chased away. If they are empowered, I am very aware this is our own task force. When they come to my side and they are correcting me on my wrongdoings, I know very well they are not there because they are doing they intend to take over my operations, but rather to protect the entire sector. We haven't really had enough discussions of the regulatory measures we have in the country on mining, especially small-scale mining specifically. We've not gone into the process of acquiring the licenses, the enforcement, and the regulations that governs the sector. Immediately, even everything comes to the CSOs or the organizations calling for the ban, ask them to give you one data of their findings. They will refer to other organizations. Where you go for reference to, they try to run away. I see people have opportunity to the media houses. In fact, they use it against us wrongly. So it is actually in the right place that the presidential spokesperson said, provide data to the effect that small-scale mining or the galamsey mining has worsened, and then we can actually go ahead with the state of emergency. Have you seen somebody coming up with the data? Let's go to Goldberg today and find out the production rate from 2024 through to now. And realize that even the production numbers are down. It tells you that if it is worse, how come the production is rather down? In May, we were told we had 11 tons. Now, what is the tonnage? I think it's about 6 or so. Over half is gone.
The opposition remains that empower the task force, no declaration of a state of emergency. Arafat Suleimana is the PRO for the small-scale miners in the Ashanti region. Their position really is that no declaration of state of emergency needed now. Let's exhaust all measures, including empowering the task force responsible for ensuring that the right thing is done when it comes to mining in the mining zones and areas in the country. But let's take you to social media on the subject about state of emergency. Many tongues are wagging, typing, saying a lot of things. Nanama Akwa is on standby to bring us up to speed on what you have been saying on social media. Nanama Akwa, tell us.
Well, Emmanuel, we are asking, is 8 months enough for President Mahama and his team to be able to deal with the issue and solve the issue of galamsey? We move over to Facebook. Drisu says he already knew the problem in opposition, so what is taking him so long? Cuneta buying C. We also have Solomon. I thought you said you already have policies in place to end this menace. Truth be told, galamsey peaked during your tenure and currently worse than we thought. We move over to Instagram. Skyman says for a good 8 years in power, MPP couldn't stop galamsey. You want someone in NDC to end it in just 8 months? AI did go use or what? Then we have Cynthia. It took years to destroy our country. It will take some time, she says, to fix it back. We also have Abdul Latif. Most of NDC's MPs now were calling for state of emergency. JM said he will use AI to fight galamsey, and you hailed him. Talk is cheap for JM and his people. We also have Rose. Why was he telling the previous government to declare a state of emergency to fight it? Is it not about whether it was in the manifesto? It's not about whether it was in the manifesto or not. Telling someone to use his power to do something means you, President Mahama, would have done it. You have the same power now. That's why the people are calling you to declare a state of emergency now. I beg, what changed? We have our next comment. 30 years cannot end galamsey. He will do what he can. We also have Reg. Alternative to galamsey, jobs or jobs. And also, what's the gold in there for? If the practices are bad, revolutionize the mining methods. It's been over 100 years or galamsey has been in practice. We also have Philip. Others used 8 years and worsened the situation. We also have Messiah Man. Yes, by implementing a state of emergency to stop all small-scale mining. But as we know, small-scale mining is not illegal. We also have Kwao Ano. Honourable Sam George said 1 week is enough for His Excellency Nana Addo to stop or fix galamsey. He's asking what changed. We also have Mr. Tekpe. Funny thing is, the people we want to help us end galamsey can't help us because they don't even know where to start from. Galamsey is not supposed to be treated the way it is being treated. It is deeper than we actually think. And these are our comments that you have sent us. Honestly, I think it's a collective effort. There needs to be something coming from the authorities, those that are mining legally, and to stop those that are mining illegally, to stop the issues that are going on, destroying Ghana. My name is Nanama Akwa. Emmanuel, back over to you.
Nanama, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on what our viewers are saying on social media. Indeed, the call for responsibilities on all of us to ensure that the right thing is done when it comes to protecting the environment. Away from that, political scientist Dr. Ashanti has backed the Attorney General's position on Article 146, expressing his disappointment in the diocese and faulting the Ghana Bar Association for failing to address flaws in that provision in the Constitution. That's Article 146, despite being the supposed guidance of Ghana's democracy. Speaking on Star FM earlier, Dr. Ashanti stressed that the real problem lies in Article 146 itself, which has been a problem since 1993.
Attorney General couldn't have said it better. I am very disappointed in the Bar Association. Why am I saying this? That you know that there is a problem with Article 146. Why have they been quiet over the years? Remember when we started operating this constitution since 1993? Here we are. There is a problem with this provision. And for over 3 decades, the Bar Association couldn't find anything wrong with this provision. They did not see. There is an adage that silence is neglect. Remember their role. If you read their role, Bar, they are guardians of this democracy, and they protect also the Bar as a bench. If you look at people who are guardians of this democracy, and there is a law like this, which has all manner of problems, and for about 3 decades they did not see, then they have neglected us. They owe us an apology, because we have put our hope and trust in them. We have reposed a lot of confidence in them because of their backgrounds, and they could sit down for 3 decades and beyond.
The 4-day funeral rites of the late Asante Hima Nana Agyabeng III commenced Monday, September 15, 2025, marking a significant moment in Ashanti tradition and culture. The Asante Hima was the 14th Queen Mother, reigning for 8 years, and the funeral ceremony, which began yesterday, is supposed to last some 4 days throughout the entire rites. Yesterday saw the presence of the clergy who filed past the body. Isaac Justice Bediako was there and has more for you in this report.
On day 1 of the Asante Hima's funeral, the fetish priest of the region opened the event with cleansing rituals to ward off any evil. Officials from the Sukwama Hennes Palace chanted incantations and used ritual objects to appeal to the gods for clear skies and no rainfall. The funeral was graced by Archbishop Emeritus Kwesi Sapon, former President John Agyabeng, clergy from the Ashanti region, and various heads of corporate institutions in the region. Speaking to GHOne News, Ochiame Asumedu, senior linguist to the paramount chief of Bompata, he described the opening day as an orderly and historic occasion. He provided insight into the activities, explaining the cultural significance behind the priest's rituals and dances performed throughout the event.
In Akan, we term this gathering as Dotiye. Dotiye means the day that we will bury the corpse. But in the Akan culture, we've set 4 days for that event, beginning from today till Thursday, that is 18th, when Nana will finally go to rest.
Kumasi Metropolitan Chief Executive Ofori Agyabeng emphasized the importance of adherence to traditional and administrative protocols. He urged all participants to comply fully with the directives provided to ensure the smooth execution of the funeral rites over the 4-day period.
Our preparation was just towards having an orderly event, and so far everything that we planned.
But yesterday commenced the 4-day Dotiye, the final funeral rites for the Asante Hima, who reigned for 8 years. Yesterday saw the clergy largely file past the body. Today, we're expecting to see members of the judiciary and as well persons of the Bar Association take their turns to mourn with Asante Man. Isaac Justice Bediako is our reporter. He's a man on the ground. He joins me now with more. Isaac, what can you tell us about today being the second day for the funeral rites?
So as you can see from the background here in Malaysia Palace, the palace is full to capacity. Traditional leaders have already taken their seats. And in today's event is dedicated to the Judicial Council members. So a lot of them are already taking their seats. But apart from that, the security services are also supposed to also pay their last respect to their Asante Hema, and so they have also taken their seat. The Inspector General of Police and his team, the Fire Service Command, National Immigration, they are all here. National leaders are also taking their possession. So at the moment, everything is in order. Otunfo is expected to take his seat, and once he's taken his seat, the car take off here in Manchester. All the people who are coming, the delegates supposed to attend the funeral today, have already passed the body to pay their last respect to Asante Hema and Agyabeng. So that is what is happening here in Manchester Palace. Now the restrictions in Kumasi has also been relaxed. If you recall, last Friday press conference that was held in Manchester Palace, the traditional leaders made it clear that they are going to ban all trading activities in Kumasi on Thursday, including banking, those in the pharmaceutical industry who will be selling drugs at various pharmacies. But now they have relaxed it. What they are saying is that transport operators can operate in Kumasi on Thursday. Restaurants can also operate in Kumasi on Thursday. Then banks can also operate in Kumasi. So these four institutions are the ones that the traditional leaders or the organizers of today's funeral have given the permission to conduct business in Kumasi on Thursday. And they are supposed to end their trading activities in Kumasi at exactly 7 p.m. so that the procession that will move from Manchia with the body of the late Asante Hema through to Batama Bermu and finally give her a resting place in Bremain Bermu. So that is the arrangement so far here in Manchia Palace.
Isaac, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed. We'll be monitoring. It's a 4-day funeral ceremony that we are seeing at Manchia Palace, as we've mentioned to you. It's supposed to last from Monday to Thursday. And then on Thursday, the president is expected to be with Asante Man at the Manchia Palace as they mourn the passing of Asante Hema, who reigned for 8 years. It's time to bring you the latest in our world of business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
In business, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, in a statement has warned of a sharp adjustment in fuel prices, an upward one, citing the persistent depreciation of the cedi as the main driver. While the increases are being experienced globally, COPEC says the situation is far more dire for Ghana due to the local currency's continuous decline as compared to other international currencies, especially the US dollar. Well, joining us via Zoom for a conversation is Duncan Amwa, who is with COPEC. He joins me now for a conversation on this. Mr. Amwa, can you hear me?
Good afternoon to you, to your viewers.
Good afternoon. We are grateful that you make the time to speak with us. You have predicted an upward adjustment in fuel prices on the back of a decline in cedi. But yesterday, the Bank of Ghana, in a statement, mentioned that as of September 12, there's been some relative stability in the cedi prices. Does this affect the projection in any way?
Let me put on record that the computation for prices would begin the 1st of the month all the way to the 14th of the month. And so within that 2-week window, whatever numbers that come would form a basis for pricing for the following window. I don't think that if we are able to stabilize the cedi within the past 48 hours, it will mean that whatever importation has been done will not be affected by the sharp depreciation witnessed within the period. So, yes, that would not until the possible upward adjustment anticipated. And we think that the Bank of Ghana clearly is awoke to their responsibility, working to ensure there's some stability in the currency. But admittedly, the past couple of days has been quite turbulent for the local currency, which saw a decline in strength from a previously interbank, a previously known interbank rate of about 11.3, 11.5, to close trading at almost 13 Ghana cedis within the period. That sharp decline or depreciation would inform, again, the movement in pricing as far as the petroleum products are concerned. So clearly, it is expected that the OMCs would naturally go up. And this is also like I usually would break down. If I brought in $1 million worth of petroleum products, say within the period, and I would have required about 11.5 million Ghana cedis to offset that. If I still would need about 13 million now to offset the same $1 million, and clearly I would need to recoup a little more at the pump, and that is what probably would make you pay more from today onwards, because the city has not been that stable.
A heavy reliance when it comes to the movements in the local currency, especially when it comes to fuel prices, is one that many analysts, including yourself in Times, have had cause to worry about. As an oil-producing nation, what measures is COPEC suggesting to ensure that we find some relative stability when it comes to fuel prices?
So we have said this time without number, and I would reiterate. If you don't plan for your people or you fail to plan, you are simply planning to fail. A country as strategically positioned as ours, with institutions like BOS, should have had strategic stock long ago. There are seasons and windows within the petroleum pricing cycle. Sometimes prices are favorable, sometimes they are not. If you had, some money that you can use to stock up your product or strategic product levels, when you find windows as these, the state can step in to say that we have enough already. We are not going to allow the currency fluctuation or international market price fluctuation to hit the market directly, so we will intervene. Unfortunately, we still do not have 1 liter of strategic stock. And so, as price takers, as a market that is simply impacted heavily by international market price movement or the currency fluctuations, we simply would continue to be at, the mercy of everything. We have failed to plan. I don't know how soon authorities would want to sit up and start thinking about the fact that something can be put in place to mitigate some of these unforeseen fluctuations in currency levels or international market price movements. But we still are not planning. So whatever hits the international market, we'll pass it on to our people. Whatever hits the currency, would also pass it on to the people. I think that era has got to come to an end somewhat.
Nakanamwa, thank you so much for speaking with us. He is Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, that is COPEC. Away from that, we take you to the Central Region and talk about the Komenda Sugar Factory, because the Central Regional Minister, Eduama Eko-Penyi is assured the people of government's commitment to revive the abandoned sugar factory and even the Komenda landing beach to spur economic growth and improve livelihoods in the area.
The Nyenin Festival, celebrated by the chiefs and people of Komenda in the Komenda Edina Eguafo Abrim municipality of the Central Region, is held in honor of the departed heroes and heroines of the Komenda area for their great contribution to the various traditional areas in Komenda. It is also used as an occasion to strengthen the bond between the people and their ancestors. At this year's festival, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, Vice President of the Republic, donated assorted items to the Komenda Traditional Council in support of the annual festival. Speaking to journalists, the Central Regional Minister, Eduama Eko-Penyi said government remains committed to improving the road infrastructure in the area and revamping the Komenda Sugar Factory to boost local economic activities.
We are expecting to have the grand day, but where Nananum will get together and tell
the state, all that they have, and what they want the state to do for them. In fact, when we meet like this, that's the time to reflect, to see what happened the previous years and what we can do as members of the community, and what we also expect from government. And so to all be here, they will tell us then the plans that the state also, the government or this government has for them will also be, announced. Especially, we are sure that definitely they'll be talking about Komenda Sugar Factory, which of course, and then the road. And as you also, when we were coming, we are on it. The road is under construction at just about around 65%, and so we are getting closer to completion.
At the Grand Deba, Paramount Chief of the Komenda traditional area expressed gratitude to the Vice President for the gesture and offered prayers for her for long life and prosperity. He also installed the Vice President as a Wabrimpong Kroko I of the Komenda traditional area at the Nini Feche at the festival.
Nana Mohamed Donye da wo fund no so ahwe education eho hia papa ma obaya ya betete hia nembe no ho so da achi wenye bebi wegina na nyame ma hia no kwatente na enso benya hia na asomdwe nti ono zo hia pa sikana eza ashasen nana ya dawasipi na mo me sho beda yedibi baka ho ma wenyu aje na ya ahwe so na maframa no wo suaze wo rupo wonenyim wo ka gigi certificate anu mu yeduru ya wo ka gigi certificate oba mo ho na wanda ati wa kwenyim na wa boa oma no so da me yeji na yiso ho awanyim yegina ho mo man nyina na nyimpa bia ere ye waze na wo fiefu wonji na wachira awana montu owo mote ekitechi medahwana se pi.
The festival brought together traditional leaders.
And that's it for the Business Brief. Up next, we'll do sports with Monica Bukari.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for tech. The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Started a 15-year medal drought at the World Championship stage, and it came through the power of arm wrestling. At the 2024 World Arm Wrestling Championships, the Golden Arms rose to the occasion, breaking the jinx and proudly securing a spot on the global podium once again. This historic monument marked not just a win for the sport, but a triumph for the entire nation. Ghana continues to show class, strength, and resilience on the world stage. This medal is a testament to years of hard work, discipline, and unwavering belief from the athletes. Ghana Arm Wrestling Federation. Away from that, the Dansoman Keep Fit Club over the weekend held its annual Great Walk, bringing together fitness enthusiasts, community members, and partner clubs. The event, which also featured aerobics and music, formed part of activities to create awareness for the upcoming Accra Marathon.
Annual Great Walk. Dansoman Keep Fit Club came off last weekend. The walk began at the Dansoman Keep Fit Club, passed through the principal street of Dansoman, Banana Inn, Latabi Okwashi, and Mamprobi, before ending back at the club's premises. Participants also were engaged in aerobic sessions to round off the exercise. The event brought together members of the Dansoman Keep Fit Club, including the famous rat, rabbit, and cockroaches groups alongside community members. Other Keep Fit clubs also joined, among them Ablekuma Central Keep Fit Club, Shukura Keep Fit Club, First Light Cape Club, Genesis Cape Club, Liberty Academy, Endurance Cape Club, Elwa Cape Club, Jachui Cape Club, and several others. Chairman of the Dansoman Cape Club, Mr. Benjamin Ahulu, expressed delight at the turnout.
The turnout today, has been massive. We had very positive response from our sister Cape clubs. We belong to the Greater Accra Cape clubs. Those are main target when it comes to this work. Apart from that, we've had the corporate bodies, our sponsors, Islamic Bank, thank you. They came in their numbers, Belakwa, Majari Royalty Properties. They all came in their numbers. And the entire community, and you realize that even as the work, progressed, we had people coming from their home, coming from their businesses to join the work. So if we started with about 500, we ended with about 800.
He added that beyond the health benefit, the work also serves as a way to connect to people.
Obviously, the primary objective is to promote healthy living, but apart from that, it also promotes socio-economic activities within the economy. Today, you see a lot of people selling stuff that are going to make some money. You see our sponsors, they're giving us money products to do this marathon. They're also enhancing their brand and image as well. And it also brings a way of bringing unity, within the community.
The walk also created awareness for the upcoming 33rd edition of the Accra Marathon scheduled for November. The 2025 annual Great Walk was filled with laughter, walking, dancing, and music.
It is the 2025 Great Walk. Freedom. Marathon is happening. Freedom. Live on 8th of November. That's why. That's why. Let's go.
Now, head coach of Black Starlet Prosper Nate Ogum says his side is ready for the Wafu Under-17 tournament. He expressed confidence in the team's preparation and believes they have what it takes to make Ghana proud. The tournament kicks off this weekend and the Starlets are determined to start strong.
We've been in camp 6 weeks now since I joined, roughly 7 weeks since I joined. We've gone through a lot of processes in terms of screening, trying to make sure that we have the final team squad for the tournament. So far it's been good. Some players have come, some have gone, and out of that we've been able to get a team squad for the tournament that starts on the 20th. The quality in the team is very good. There's so much energy, there's so much enthusiasm, so much confidence. Technically, the players we have assembled are very good. Tactically too, they understand the game model, the principles within the game model, and they play as a unit. I think we need to keep up with what we are doing and then make sure that the players stay very confident before the tournament, because that will be the key to making sure that they are able to execute the principles within the game model. So it's been good and we are all happy with how far things have gone.
And that's all for sports. My name is Monica Bukari. GHOne is up next.
Has officially declared Nigeria's culinary star Hilda Bassi as the new record holder for the largest serving of jollof rice. Following her epic feat last week in Lagos, the record-breaking event took place on September 12, 2025 at Echo Hotels and Suites in Victoria Island, where Hilda cooked an astonishing 8,780 kilograms. Iconic dish, jollof rice. That's nearly 9 tons of smoky and spicy jollof rice, enough to feed over 30,000 people. It was cooked in a massive custom-built pot measuring over 6 meters wide with a capacity of 22,000 plus liters. This achievement comes just over a year after Hilda wowed the world with her Guinness Certified Cookathon record, where she cooked non-stop for 93 hours and 11 minutes. Congratulations to Nigerian star Hilda Basi. But that's our wrap up the news on Newsroom. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. We say thank you for watching and have a good afternoon.